pressure on Binger not to bring a retrial, depending on how things flesh out. But this was supposed to be a shining moment. Instead, he got lectured by the court, and the left thinks he's secretly sabotaging the case. So his one audience is not his audience that he thought it would be, not his cheering audience. And so he may reconsider how eager he is. And Grosswitz is locked into what he said. He can't take that back. Key evidence you've already got locked in. My guess is second time around, those car source people probably just take the fifth and stay off the stand rather than be dumb enough to commit another round of perjury.
I can't believe they got up there in the first place if those were the answers they were going to give.
I would have subpoenaed their tax and financial records of them and their entire family. I would have put the sting on them quickly. And
well,
we did that in the Snipes case. We subpoenaed a lot of people, a lot of evidence, because a lot of people were going to get up there and tell fake stories. And then when they knew we were going certain places, they suddenly decided they didn't want to testify or didn't want to tell those fake stories. So there's ways in which you can do that. The other thing is
subpoena the insurance claim. You filed an insurance claim.
Absolutely. And the insurance policies and all their internal communications about everything that happened, all their texts, all their emails, everything discussed related to that event. I guarantee you they said some dumb stuff. There would have been a lot of evidence, track records, digging. They clearly had tax fraud problems. They had financial abuse issues. They had insurance fraud issues. They had to cover their rears beyond just the obvious of not wanting to accept responsibility for hiring Kyle. They wanted to. It was more than that. When you can't say what your job really is, and you're not sure which place you really work for, I know what that is. Usually those people suddenly decide, we'll just take the fifth rather than lie on the stand. And so there are ways to have handled that.
I can tell you the limits of their inventory policy on their insurance. It's $400,000. That's the limit. They testified directly. Oh, it was $400,000. The other day it was $2.5 million. And you're talking about losing 130 cars, plus a building, plus you've got ground damage. You're going to have to do some re-asphalting of a giant lot. Yeah, there's no way that's $400,000. And someone said that averages out to like $2,500 a car, and they tend to sell cars apparently around the $3,000 mark. So maybe that's plausible, but it's like, you've got a whole building there. And that's a $500,000 building. Easy. It's a big structure, and it's a commercial structure. They cost a lot because it's a business, and it's like, and they've got equipment in there. They've got this is a used car dealership. They've got computers. They may have some sort of service and maintenance shop there. Who knows? But $400,000, what they testified to under oath the second go at it, that's their policy limit is my guess. But
and almost every insurance policy excludes civil unrest, arson, things of that nature. Now, they probably didn't necessarily fully know that the first night, but I bet they found out by the time they wanted to hire people. The problem was they were so cheap, they didn't want to hire professionals, because these are people that operate on thin margins. So it's saving a little bit here and not paying some tax over there that gets them to their profit. And it's interesting that the dad runs everything, but he doesn't speak English.
And the inventory manager doesn't manage the inventory because the dad does.
Mom owns some businesses. Is mom claiming to be the owner for the purpose of getting certain federal loan policies, maybe certain small business investment, certain other banks? So my guess is, with this kind of family you dig, you're going to find fraud, and you could have made sure they never got up and told that fake story. Now, I don't think it sold with anybody but the most hardcore Kyle hater on the jury. It didn't take a lot to figure out, man, these are people that are shifty as the stereotype suggested, and in that community. So, but it just could have. This was a case that's set up for a dream team defense because of how compelling the client was, the facts were, and the law was, and they've unnecessarily jeopardized it. Hopefully, for all of us that care about self-defense or care about the kid, ultimately that doesn't matter. And like I said, a little fairy dust on that wheel for jury selection. A little bit of God's blessing, and the verdict is the right verdict, regardless of Forrest Gump
counsel. Well, Robert, it's always such a pleasure to have you on. I always welcome your wisdom and your insight. I'm going to go ahead and read through a bunch of chats, and I'll let you peace out. I'll definitely have a link for you on Monday if you want to pop in. And I think Monday is going to be an explosive day, and I think we're going to have a whole lot of people watching. So.
Yep, and I just hope Richards does the best presentation ever, and I hope Binger is exposed as the swarmy, sleazy scuzzbag that he is.
Absolutely.
And then after that, we can get back to the most important thing, disbarring Binger.
Disbar Binger. All right. Thanks, man. See you soon.